Hello everyone. What a terrible intro. Hello everyone. Welcome to Everything Arsenal. We're here to preview the Leicester Arsenal game. A very big game. A very big week ahead for us. We have three games this upcoming week. After a very good victory against Aston Villa, game that was looking likely that we wouldn't win that game, but we came through in the last minute and scored 2 goals. We now have a very big week ahead of us. We're going to finally play our game in hand against Everton on Wednesday, but we have to focus on the game this weekend first, and that is the game against Leicester City. So we'll be talking about the game. Who should start? Do you guys think Partey should start ahead of Jorginho if he's 100% fit? Do you guys think Ben White, TOMIYASU, who should start there? And NKETIAH, should he be dropped for Trossard or Martinelli up front? Let us know. And also be talking about Man City and Arsenal, who are the fixtures between the two teams, who has the best fixtures for the next 6 games and all that. So make sure to get your comments in. And I'm joined by a legend, Cozy from Cozy Arsenal Podcast. Cozy's Arsenal Podcast, how are you, man? Nice seeing you again.
Yeah, I'm absolutely fine, bro. I'm fine. We are flying. So if you're an Arsenal fan and you're not fine right now, it must be other reasons, right? You remember those times when Arsenal was the reason why we were not fine, like always.
Yep,
It's
very well.
yeah, it's different now. Arsenal has become the comfort, the comfort now. Like you have your own problems with your hustles, but Arsenal just becomes the comfort. So look, I'm really fine, and also under a little bit of pressure, but yeah, that is what it takes to win the title.
Very true. This season has been very good for us. I still think last season was good for us as well. We still picked up a lot of good results apart from the last 2 weeks of the season. But this has been a way better season. We didn't expect to be in the title race from the beginning of the season. Literally from August until now, we've been fighting for the title. So that is something new to all of us. We're not used to Arsenal fighting for the title like this. So hopefully we can get the job done. But you're saying you're feeling good. But was that the case when you lost to Everton, Man City, and with Brentford? Now, how did you feel when we dropped points in those 3 games? Did you start thinking maybe we're not ready enough to win this title, or are you still confident?
Actually, what always hurts is the hope, and I've always personally said that if Arsenal can go and win each and every game there is in the season, there will be no reason to be worried. But I was very worried when we lost points against Everton, and the reason as to why I was is Everton play in a very similar way to many of the Premier League teams, especially Sean Dyche. Sit in a low block, double up on your opponent's best players. They were doubling up on Saka. They were doubling up on Martinelli. They put Odegaard out of the game. And we never literally found a way through. That's why I was so afraid. I wasn't actually fuming at the Everton game. I was very afraid. And then we played Brentford. Brentford almost did the very same thing. Double up on Saka, double up on Martinelli. Don't allow Odegaard to have that time to pick up the key passes. And again, we struggled a little bit. So I was afraid, and I kind of started to think, or maybe we're asking too much of this team. Maybe this is not our season. Maybe we cannot match that Liverpool side and what they've done in the past 6 years, going toe to toe with Manchester City. And then when we lost to City, I don't know where I got the energy, because I remember myself saying after the Manchester City game, now our title charge has started. And I looked at our next 10 games from Aston Villa, Leicester City, Everton, Bournemouth, Leeds, Fulham, until Liverpool at Anfield. And I was like, but this is not over yet. This is not where it ends. This is where it actually begins. And many people who watch my channel actually know. I just say, if Manchester City win each and every game right from here, they have won it. But if they don't, this is the start of the real title race. And right now, I kind of feel like we're back in it, and we might just run away before people think of Arsenal sleeping again.
Very true. This weekend we have a very big game against Leicester City. I remember there's a time between 2016 to 2019 we used to have a lot of problems against them. There used Vardy, Mustafi could not deal with Vardy. They beat us home and away. I think was it the COVID season or something? Vardy scoring in the last minute. But last season we beat them. I think home and away, and this season we beat them comfortably at our place 4-2. But this game, it's another very big game. Now, something I wanted us to take a look at in terms of stats for both teams, Leicester City against Arsenal. So looking at the away record, Arsenal have the best away record in the league by far. Like we are how many points ahead? Let me just show you. City is second in terms of best away record. We've picked up 28 points away from home. Man City have picked up 21. We've had some big results, like we scored 4 against Aston Villa the other day. We scored 3 against Brentford, 3 against Bournemouth, 4 against Brighton. We beat Tottenham, Chelsea. Very, very good away record. Now compare that to Leicester's home record. Leicester are 19th in terms of home record. They've only won 3 games at their place this season. So we have the best away record, and Leicester have probably the worst away record next to Southampton. They've only won 3 games. So do you take such kind of stats to our advantage? Should you be looking at that as well? Because Leicester have not been great at home, and we've been very good away from home.
Well, definitely you've got to put those stats into account when you look at this game and when you're analyzing this game. Because look, there is a reason as to why they're not winning at the King Power Stadium, and there is a reason as to why we're not losing games away. And I still remember last season, one of the reasons why we dropped off so much was we capitulated away. Our record was absolutely bad. And for me, right, I think Leicester have turned around, and everybody has to agree with me. They've really, really turned around. The Leicester City we played in the first half of the season is very different from the Leicester City we are going to play in the second half. And how many games have they played in the second half of the season? They have 15 games to go. That means they have not played half of their games they have to play at home. So I think what Arsenal fans are going to see and what we expect is very different from what we're expecting in the first leg. In the first leg, if Arsenal didn't win that game, comfortably, I would be fuming because look at Tottenham Hotspur when they beat them. What, 6? Was it 6?
Yeah,
it was 6. Son with a hat trick. Each and every club has gone there and picked up points. But I think this is a very different Leicester. They've beaten Aston Villa 4-2. By the way, I think that was the weekend prior to us in Villa. Was it that? Yeah. Or before, actually?
Yeah.
Villa lost
previous week.
Yeah, previously. So I think they're a better side, right now, and they're going to put in a lot of resistance. They're at home. They're looking to bounce back from that humiliating defeat against Man United, where they were, toothless, spineless. They didn't show any heart. It will be tough, in my opinion. It's gonna be tough. I think the record stands that they're not winning at home, but we'll see something different in tomorrow on Saturday.
You're very right. They scored 4 against Tottenham as well recently, and they also scored 4 goals away to Aston Villa. They have that new signing playing. The likes of Tielemans are actually sitting on the bench. So they have a couple of new signings who are playing really, really well. But as you said, the way they played against Man United the other day, the number of opportunities they gave them, they played okay in the first half. De Gea saved United. But in the second half, they were absolutely brilliant. Like Man United, passing through Leicester, it was too easy for Man United. So if they play that kind of way.
Yeah, actually, James Maddison said that what cost them that game was the first 19 minutes in the game, because they created 3 world-class opportunities. I reckon the 3 chances they had must be totaling up to an XG of 10, right? Because that Barnes chance, how do you not bury that? The Kelechi Iheanacho header, how has De Gea kept that out? You still have got to ask a lot of questions. And I think was it James Maddison again who had another go at goal, and then it was saved, right? So
yeah.
And then after that, just within a blink of an eye, Fires, of course, he always gives away a chance. Gives away chance to Bruno Fernandes, sees Marcus Rashford's run, and Rashford scores. And Maddison said that is where we capitulated. The easy thing for us to do then is to start strong in that game. If you can get 2 goals up in that game, Leicester City are going to capitulate, and we are going to have a simple run through them on Saturday.
Awesome. So let's talk about what's the word? I've forgotten the term, but the big news, basically, Thomas Partey returning. So Jorginho has not been bad at all. He was very good against Aston Villa. I even think he played well against Everton when he came on. People just talking bad about him. I think he actually did well. But against Aston Villa, we saw his qualities. Even the first goal, the way he turned and gave the pass to Ben White for him to put that cross in. Not just the ability, but the guts to shoot the ball in the 92nd minute against Aston Villa the other day. Very good. So if Thomas Partey is 100% fit for this weekend, what do you do? Do you keep Jorginho in the team, or do you bring Partey straight back in? Because we all know Partey's qualities. We know he's still better than Jorginho. So what do you do between those two players?
Well, look, I'm going to be like any other Arsenal fan. I'm a big Thomas Partey fan. Like, I think I'm the biggest Thomas Partey fan. I don't remember a time when he's done poorly and I've criticized him, and then I've not gone back to say, but he's our best midfielder, right? So I always find a reason to back him. I think what Mikel has done this season is to keep a consistent 11, which has actually worked out for us very well. I love the idea of playing the same 11 players every single game. So I'll bring back Thomas Partey in the team, and this is the reason. I think, look, when you look at Leicester, they capitulated against Man United. But that's because United do have a certain Sabitzer in there. They have a hard-working Fred in that team as well. And then, of course, the creator, Bruno Fernandes, who we have in Odegaard. If you bring Thomas Partey, it means you're sealing, your dominance. You're literally going to dominate the game. But then you're also sealing any kind of channels for Leicester City to have, a laugh and have a go in that game. You look at Aston Villa. I don't think Aston Villa do have a great midfield, in my opinion. I love Kamara. I think it's very good, Boubacar Kamara. But Joe McGinn is not that kind of guy that frightens me. Philippe Coutinho this season, definitely not a threat, in my opinion. And Emi Buendia has settled in as an average player. But their midfield caused us problems against Jorginho. Jorginho is a good player, but with his attributes, right? He's good at his game. He's good with his game. Get me the ball. I will progress it. He's good at, progressive passes, progressive carries. He's, will carry that ball. His vision is good. His passing is very good. So if you're looking to pen or pin a team into their own half, have that kind of, dominance, that is Jorginho. But with Thomas Partey, we have, you have more than that. We'll seal off James Maddison. We'll seal off Yuri Tillemans just to make sure that they don't cause any kind of trouble for us. And, it will be, it will be easy. So for me, Partey, if he's 100% fit, play him for 70 minutes. By then, Arsenal should have won that game, and then introduce Jorginho, because Jorginho, for game management, he's the best player. He's the better player. He will keep that ball. He's happy to receive in tight areas, happy to pass the ball. He's happy to, I think he's a tactician and technician in midfield. So play Partey for consistency. He has better communication with the rest of the team. He has a better understanding of how Martinelli runs, Saka runs, Odegaard runs in and out, and all that. And then the physicality. Look, it's the Premier League, and it's why it's the best league in the world. It combines skill and physicality. So for physicality issues, bring him in the team. Win this game, because it's a very important one, Glenn. Man City will play, is it a few minutes after we have played that game, right? And they're playing Bournemouth. We cannot count on them dropping points all the time. And even when they drop points after we've played, we should be able to capitalize. So for me, important game, Partey comes back straight in, and then Jorginho goes back to his usual role of a squad rotation player.
Do you think Jorginho is better in the Partey role in a 4-3-3, or do you think he's better in a 4-2-3-1 alongside someone like a Partey?
I think it's better in a better in a 4-2-3-1 alongside a player like Partey. But there is a problem with that, and it's the same problem I have with Xhaka, redundancy, right? Jorginho doesn't give you that Ike Gundogan role. And it doesn't, and it's the same as Xhaka. It doesn't give you that Ike Gundogan role. And I was talking about Ike Gundogan and Yuri Tillemans, and I said, you look at Ike Gundogan and the number of shot creating actions he's creating per 90, the number of assists he's averaging a season, and the number of goals he's averaging a season, and how important he is when he arrives in those goal scoring positions and takes on the opportunities, he's not Xhaka, he's not Jorginho. So it's more like a redundancy sport, right? And I pray that we sign a player like Nicolo Barella, we sign a player like Jude Bellingham, we sign a player like Pedri or Toni Kroos. Many Arsenal fans are really going to wonder how one player can improve a team so much. But the role is there. It's just that we've not found the right person for it. So I would rather play him in a 4-2-3-1 because if he doesn't have to look over his shoulder, he's a better player. Like, he just has to, receive the ball at the center line. Partey doing all the donkey work and dropping deep. Jorginho picking up the ball at the center line and then progressing it, distributing it, controlling games. I think he's fantastic at that. But why I would never play him in that role, it is redundancy. If you play him with Kante, you literally, whatever Jorginho can do, Kante can do alone in that role.
Okay, DC says start Jorginho, Partey in terms of fitness. Kabiru says, please bring on Partey if he's fit. For me, Partey should start, says Emmanuel. Jorginho should remain in the first 11 and rest Partey, says Yusuf. Do you also take consideration that you have 2 games this week? Are you also taking that into consideration?
Look,
we have some really tough games.
Yeah, 2 tough games. The only reason why I would rest Thomas Partey, that is it. Like, I want him to be fresh for Everton because with Everton we are going physical. With Leicester, it might not be as physical as all these other teams. But with Everton, with Sean Dyche, actually we're not playing Everton. We are playing Sean Dyche. It's going to be absolutely physical. He's going to sit down. He's going to sit back, and he will win every duel there is physically. So for me, look, that is the only reason I'll dress Thomas Partey. Like, keep him as a gun for Everton because Everton is twice as important as Leicester City, right? You win against Leicester, you win against Everton, you've created a 5-point difference between you and Manchester City, and your next game is at the Emirates Stadium against Bournemouth. How good and how beautiful could that be?
Awesome. So that is the Jorginho Partey case done. What about Ben White and Tomiyasu? You made your feelings very clear about Ben White's his performance against Aston Villa, and also we know Tomiyasu made a mistake against Man City, but you still know they're good players. But who would you start this weekend against Leicester? And who would you start for most of the games between now and the end of the season?
I'm going to be honest. I still respect Mikel Arteta's decision to play Ben White. I don't think it is. I don't think it is biased. I think he's picked him because of his abilities, right? And because we play in an elbow system where you have Alexander Zinchenko very, very high up the pitch and then tucking into midfield. In order for you to stop the counterattacks, that's why Ben White plays there as a centre back. He's got the ability to stop players and counterattacks. My problem with him is that he's dropped off a little bit, okay? That is my problem with him. Yes, he's good, he's trusted by the manager, but he has dropped off a little bit. So what do we do in that case? I think play Tomiyasu, right? We've seen rotation help Gabriel Martinelli, and I pray that Trossard still starts against Leicester. If we can rotate our players, allow them that that extra second, that extra minute to reflect and look at themselves, or maybe even freshen up and refresh, then why not? For me, definitely against Leicester, it's Tomiyasu because Leicester has runners. You look at Tete. Tete is a runner. Harvey Barnes is a runner, and because Barnes missed chances against Man United, but he could easily spring into life against Arsenal. We don't want that. But you cannot risk it. So I think Tomiyasu would be better to stop Harvey Barnes or Tete, depending on whoever is going to be coming up against them. On the left-hand side, we already know Alexander Zinchenko is backed by Gabriel Magalhaes. I think he's been doing all right, Gabriel. So I would start Tomiyasu, but bring back Ben White against Everton. Because with Everton, I know their strategy. We know their strategy. They're going to sit back. they're going to try to catch us on the break. So that is when Ben White, that's when you need Ben White more. You need Ben White in that game just in case they try to break through maybe Demarai Gray or Dwight McNeil. He's always there, right? But in this one, I think there will be a midfield battle. We will need a lot of creativity from our right back, especially supporting Saka. I think Tomiyasu is better for Leicester. Ben White is better for Everton.
What about for the rest of the season? Who would you start in most of the games?
I would still go with Ben White. There is a reason as to why the manager has played him for 21 games. There is a reason as to why, and of course, I've talked about communication. I've talked about creating those relationships with the rest of the team. I think he's already done that, right? If you want to go again, like Arsenal trying to sign a right back in the summer, maybe Fresneda, maybe Tino Livramento, then probably you start again this campaign. But for now, Ben starts ahead of Tomiyasu. It should be that way, right? It should really be that way. Unless it is one particular game or two particular games. At Anfield, Tomiyasu. At the Etihad, Tomiyasu again. I know many people are going to say, what is he saying? He had a very, very poor game against Jack Grealish. One poor game, right? At Newcastle, Ben White, right? At Newcastle, Ben White. And then the rest of the games, Benjamin White.
Yeah, as I told you yesterday, I don't really mind who starts between those two. I feel like both of them are very good players. When was the last time Arsenal had two good right backs? Like I remember very well having Bellerin and Lichtstein as your right backs, like two poor right backs. Bellerin had dropped off, Lichtstein was too slow. Yeah. Having players like Cedric.
I actually don't remember a time apart from, I think was it Bakale Sanya, the last consistent right back we had.
Yeah.
Because
we signed, a long time ago.
We signed Matteo, was it Debuchy? Didn't work out. Bellerin came from the academy sort of thing. Didn't work out. We've struggled at right back. We really, really struggled. And that's why I thought I was very, very happy when we signed Tomiyasu, because he looked like a solid guy. And you look at the amount of love he received from Arsenal fans, it showed you that these guys really, really do love him. And he had revolutionized that right back position that had been dead for a very long time.
Nelson says Tomiyasu. Alkali says Ben White. Tomiyasu is better, says Charles. More natural in that position compared to White. Tomiyasu says Amok. Tomiyasu as well says Ahmad. Joshua says Ben White. So Ben White's from Rogers. So a lot of mixed opinions. I do agree with this one. It's a very hard one to choose. But I do agree with what you said. Some games, Tomiyasu. Some games, Ben White. I was surprised when I checked before Ben White was dropped for the last game. I think him, Saliba, Gabriel, and Ramsdale had pretty much played every single game. It's very rare you see your defenders or your players playing every single game. So that's a good thing to have. So those are two positions. But there's another one that we definitely need to talk about. NKETIAH up front. I've put a poll on YouTube asking who should start up front. NKETIAH, Trossard, Martinelli. How do you feel about specifically this weekend? Who would you start against Leicester?
Well, to be honest, I think NKETIAH receives a lot of stick from us, the fans. And fans are like weather. We change a lot. Like we change quickly, right? But I give him a lot of credit. I really, really do. But at this point in time, everyone looks at Arsenal as title contenders. No one looks at us as in any other way. We are either title contenders or our season is done. We can't drop out of the top four for now. I'm backing my team not to do that. So is our season really done? I don't think it's done. I think we're title contenders, okay? So, and that actually sends the message. That actually makes the difference. Eddie Nketiah is a poacher. Is a typical number 9. You look at some of the goals he scored this campaign, the one against West Ham, where he just turned, and hit that ball with a lot of precision and with a lot of, clinicalness. That is a number 9 goal. The one against Manchester United, the header, that is a typical number 9 goal, being at the back post as well. And then the last minute flick against Man United. Those are good. Those are very, very good number 9 goals. And you need those goals. But we needed those goals against Tottenham Hotspur, and he had better chances to finish. He did not. He's had more chances, right, in very good positions to bury games for us, and he has actually not. So for me, I always want to find something different, and I believe Gabriel Martinelli is one of the top finishers at Arsenal. When he gets into goal scoring position, I don't remember a time when I was like, Martinelli's through and goal. Oh, he missed that. Of course, he did miss a very, very good chance at the beginning of the season. I still remember that.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
He should have buried that. And a few other chances, please. But with Eddie, I kind of feel like he's holding us back a little bit. And maybe he might need some rotation as well. So I would rotate Eddie Nketiah, play Gabriel Martinelli as a 9, or as a false 9, or as a 9, or Leandro Trossard. But I think Trossard is comfortable on the left. He's been doing very, very well on the left-hand side. So I would play Gabriel Martinelli and see, is there a difference? Is there a difference in link-up? Can any other player, apart from Eddie Nketiah, play there and bring, this left-hand side to life again? Xhaka, Trossard, Zinchenko. It looks like ever since Jesus, dropped out of the team, the left-hand side is not actually working out very well. So I'll drop Eddie, keep Saka, keep Trossard, and then play Gabriel Martinelli through the middle and just see. If it doesn't work out, take him off 60 minutes and then introduce Eddie again.
Interesting. So we wouldn't even have been talking about this if Gabriel Jesus was there. So what's the one thing is, obviously he's back in training, but we might not have him for a few more weeks, obviously, because it's a surgery, he needs to recover. Even if he's back, he's not going to be 100% when he plays. So what's the one thing you think we missed about Gabriel Jesus? One specific thing that you think we've missed the most from Gabriel Jesus?
I would want to say link-up play. I would want to say link-up play. I think that's what I'm going to say. The way he links channels with other players, the way he becomes a magnet, with two other players, the way he makes other players better. That is what we miss up front. I think Odegaard is a better player, by the way. And listen to this: but Odegaard is a better player when a player like Eddie Nketiah or Erling Haaland is on the pitch, because he literally is given the chance to pick out a pass, okay? Yeah. But the rest of the team is better with Gabriel Jesus into the team, because Xhaka in that new role loves to get into the penalty area, but because Eddie's waiting for service always, you cannot have that chance. You don't have. I've not seen Xhaka get those goal scoring opportunities in the penalty area like he did against Leicester City in the first leg, right? Yep. Like he did against
that one. Yep.
Tottenham. Exactly. Yep. Against Tottenham as well. So it's what you miss with Gabriel Jesus. He's going to do all the hard work, attract attention, and then slowly drift away out of position. He's going to go with one or two center backs, and that creates a lot of spaces for other players to run into. I think that's what we are missing. And we've become so predictable. With Gabriel Jesus, he adds that layer of unpredictability. He can attack from the left, attack from the right, and then when he attacks from the left, Martinelli goes to the right, and Saka is in the middle. And when he goes to the right, that means Saka comes to the left, and then Martinelli is in the middle. Or none of them is in the middle, and Xhaka or Martin Odegaard, are arriving in that number 9 spot. That is what we are missing. We are missing that one thing where you're like, how are Arsenal really going to approach this game? And even the ability to change tactics in game and create something different. I think it's one of those players that, create a chance out of nothing. I've seen Odegaard do it. I've seen Saka do it. And Gabriel Jesus, they create a chance out of nothing. He's not afraid to pick up the ball at the center line and dribble past 2-3, and all of a sudden he's through on goal. At times he's not scored many of those, and that's why I think many people say, "Oh, his XG is up, but he's not scoring goals." But some of these chances, are chances he's creating himself, but chances that he's running through 2, 3, 4, 5 bodies onto goal. True. So that's what I'm missing with him: the unpredictability layer that he brings this team.
I totally agree with you, and also his ability to come back to midfield and fight for the ball and pass those to Martinelli, to Saka. Like if you see the games he's played for us, you take a look at the duels involved in between him and every single other Arsenal player. He usually gets involved in like 11 or 12 duels, and he wins like 7 or 8 of them every single game. He doesn't only play as a striker, literally comes into midfield and gets the ball and, as you say, runs past 2-3 players like he did against Bournemouth when Odegaard scored. It was literally from Jesus running past 4 or 5 players. So that's one thing he does pretty well. So those are 3 positions we've covered. You said you want Martinelli up front. You said you'd prefer Tomiyasu, and you've said Partey as well. So Odegaard, and we need to talk about Fabio Vieira as well, and Odegaard and Xhaka. So Fabio Vieira, before you talk about him starting or not, what have you made of his season? Obviously, it's been a bit disappointing that hasn't had the impact we were expecting, but you've seen a few flashes here and there. The pass to Martinelli the other day, we saw a bit of quickness, quick thinking, passing the ball. We saw a good performance away at Old Trafford. We've seen maybe a couple of Europa League performances, his goal against Brentford. What have you made of his season? And do you think some people have already given up on him? I've seen people saying, no, he's not strong enough. He needs to be sold. He's not this, he's not that. But what do you personally do in terms of what do you think his season has been this season, like in terms of impact?
I think, to be honest, he's a technician as a player. We have seen a few times where he's been standing on a free kick and he's delivered it in a way that you feel like that is good, that is quality. And I've always regarded him as Arsenal's Bernardo Silva, and I still see him as Arsenal's Bernardo Silva. But with Mikel Arteta and all these total football systems, I've not seen a player come in at Man City, for example, and he's hit the ground running right away, apart from Erling Haaland.
Yeah.
Like, all players take that time. They take that extra half a season or that one season to settle in. And then when they settle in, they learn their roles, they settle in, it is absolutely different. So that is what Fabio Vieira is going through right now. I think, look, he's played him in so many positions. I don't know if people have noticed that. At right wing, he's played him in Xhaka's role, in Martin Odegaard's role against Brentford. He played there at times on the left. At time, look, he's played him in so many different positions. He's trying to test his versatility, but then he's also trying to go what is the best position where I can get the best out of this boy. What is that best position? So I expected a lot from him, and I still expect a lot from him. I can never give up on Fabio Vieira. I look at the glimpses of quality. Look at that pass, the timing to release that ball in the last game against Aston Villa. Look, Xhaka had the same opportunity against Man City, and this time it was very close to the penalty area. He had to release Martinelli, and he didn't. And he slipped, slipped and went down. And Diaz made a very, very nice tackle. So I think with Vieira, you just have to be patient, okay? You really, really have to be patient. He's going to be a wonderful, wonderful player. Yeah, I will agree with anyone. I'll give it to anyone who says this season he's been disappointed with Fabio Vieira. But how many times have we needed to change a game and Mikel has not brought him on? How many times have we won a game 3-0 and he's not even had a chance in the 80th minute or 90th minute? I think that's something that Mikel has to work on. I really admire Pep Guardiola. Pep is one guy that takes off Kevin De Bruyne and introduces Phil Foden. Not to win a game, because he's already leading 5-0, but the more a player gets involved, by the time you need him, it's not new. We talked about this with Tomiyasu the last time. When Tomiyasu comes onto a pitch, it's like new, right? He's not been out of action. It's good to have a starting 11, but then you need to have 4-5 players that are always, in the mix, always either coming in the 70th minute, 80th minute, so that when one of your players picks up an injury, you have a player who's already game fit and game ready to dive in. So look, when we get to the UEFA Champions League, I think he will receive more game time. He will get more game time, like he did in the Europa League, and we saw his quality in the Europa League games. I still think he's a quality player, and I still back him to play to take over from Granit Xhaka. I still think we'll play with 2 attacking midfielders, Odegaard and Fabio. Just like Eko Gundogan, Bernardo Silva and Kevin De Bruyne. I still feel
that was going to be my next question. That was going to be my next question. Would you like, when he plays now, like this week, coming week, we have 3 games. I think he'll have to start somewhere. Would you start him ahead of Xhaka, rest Xhaka, or would you start him ahead of Odegaard, rest Odegaard?
To be honest, I'm gonna be selfish. Right now, I can't rotate Odegaard and Saka. Like, to be honest, I can't. Like, unless it's a broken leg, right? Like, unless it's a broken leg, no rotation. Like, no rotation at all. So with Odegaard, he has to play the rest of the 15 games. But in some of the fixtures, I would rotate him with Xhaka. I would definitely do rotate him with Xhaka because he, as a player, you've got to find at least that rhythm, and he's not found the consistency yet to play games. Right? You look at players like Martinelli and why they've become great again. He's played over 20 games in a row, bro. And everybody's, oh, Martinelli's great. No, he was always that good. Just like he didn't have a string of games to play, to show you how good he is. So with Fabio Vieira, it's not gonna be this season, but if he's to come in, I'll actually play. I'll rotate him with Granit Xhaka. But that is if Emile Smith Rowe is not ready. But if Emile is ready, definitely Emile starts ahead of Vieira and Xhaka.
So again, you've brought his. We're going to talk about Fabio Vieira again, but you've brought up Smith Rowe. Last season, we saw him playing mostly on the left wing. So why do you think Smith Rowe will feature a lot this season, apart from like in place of Trossard and Martinelli, or in place of Xhaka? Do you think Smith Rowe can do the Xhaka role? Xhaka does a lot. He defends. He goes to the left back position. He covers. Do you think Smith Rowe can do that?
Defensively, there are questions. Defensively, there are questions because it asks a lot. It's a position that really asks a lot in Mikel Arteta's system, given the fact that our left back is more of a midfield as well. But I think young players need one thing: they need trust. The moment you show them that you trust them, the moment you show them that you believe in them, they can do it. I think Smith Rowe has got the quality. Against Brentford last campaign, he scored a goal with his right foot, and he dribbled almost from the center line. Right?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and scored that goal. So I think defensively, you as a manager, he's got to tell him, look, I want to trust you, and I trust you, but you need to give me, you need to improve this part of your game. Look, you look at players like Jude Bellingham that are 150 million euros right now. The difference is, Jude is a reliable player, okay? Defensively, reliable, and then going forward, reliable, can create a difference and all that. I think Emile Smith Rowe is in that same bracket. It's just defining the role, giving him the job description, and then he studies it, he practices it. I think he's a phenomenal, fantastic player. We might not even need to sign a central midfielder with Emile Smith Rowe and Fabio Vieira. We might not need to. So for me, he can do the role, but he will need a clear job description.
If we get the Smith Rowe from last season and we get Fabio Vieira from FC Porto, we are going to be absolutely dangerous. So, and I saw a question here about my next question about the lineup. So Yusuf said one thing I should correct is the defensive lineup. They're making too many mistakes and are costing us. So that's the point. Gabriel has made a few mistakes. Saliba has made a few mistakes. Zinchenko has made a mistake. Tomiyasu has made a mistake. So most of our defenders, we seem to be unable to keep a clean sheet recently. It's been long since we kept a clean sheet. So Kiwior, we bought a defender called Kiwior. Do you think we're going to see him in the Premier League, or do you think you're only going to see him in the Europa League and you're happy to see Gabriel and Saliba play even though they make mistakes? Or would you be happy to see Kiwior introduced for 1 or 2 games?
Well, look, I think the reason as to why our center line has been making those mistakes is the same thing with Liverpool. When your defensive midfielder is away or drops off in quality, like Fabinho this season, Partey has played with an injury. I think from the FA Cup game, Partey has played with an injury. We've got to agree with that. Until he couldn't play anymore, right? When Partey drops off in quality, the defense gets too exposed. Like every single ball that runs through the midfield gets to them. And that's why you look at the Oli Watkins chance. How is Matty Cash running through the midfield without anyone pressing him? Like, there is no press. There's no pressure on Matty Cash. He's just running through the midfield. That should not happen. You look at the Ike Gundogan chance Ike Gundogan. chance that he lays off for Grealish. The ball is picked up in midfield. And again, we are not pressing well, right? That should not happen. So for me, the mistakes are coming from the fact that they're having a lot to do. There is no one covering them. Partey usually drops into that back line, and then we have three center halves: Partey, Saliba, and Gabriel. Gabriel dropping off to the left to cover for Zinchenko. Saliba helping out White, and then Partey being there in the middle. Jorginho doesn't do that. And think when Partey is injured or is uncomfortable, he doesn't cover as much ground. So just get cover in front of them. They're gonna be all right. I've not seen these mistakes that like Fayez makes at Leicester City or Alisson makes at Liverpool. I've not seen such kind of mistakes in my team. And I think, look, when Partey is in the team, Gabriel Magalhaes, whether he's good at passing or not, he has a passing option. Always. He has a passing option. A reliable passing option. When he's not in the team, he fumbles, he fidgets, and he's just going to play that, try to play that ball in the area where Partey always is. And this time there is no one there, or Jorginho is too slow to get the ball fast. And then the other team will actually pick it up. With Jakub Kiwior, I think the most interesting attribute about him is that long ball, that diagonal ball. Yeah, and that's why I think Mikel Arteta, looked at him as like, okay, I couldn't get Lisandro Martinez, who is also fantastic with that diagonal ball, but how about this boy, Jakub Kiwior? I don't see him as a main player for Arsenal, but if he exceeds expectation, if he delivers past Gabriel Magalhaes, I won't be surprised at some point in time if he starts, playing more regularly than Gabriel Magalhaes. But for now, don't disrupt the back line. Don't make many changes. I think the changes are up front. We are looking to win games, and we've not been conceding like 3 goals. I don't think our defense is having an unexpected exit of 4-5 goals per game. No, it's that one goal, that those two chances. If you can clear out the mistakes, of course, do the easy thing, put the ball out for a throw in for a corner. We are good to go. So I wouldn't recommend many changes. Jakub Kiwior, again, if it's the Europa League, depends. If they give us Barcelona, I would still stick with Gabriel, right? It would be too harsh for us to play Jakub Kiwior right now with the pressure in the Premier League. It would be a little bit too harsh.
Oh, so you brought up another of my later questions. So you still play Gabriel in the Europa League. So that means you're still taking the Europa League seriously. April, Arsenal are still top 2-3 points ahead of Man City, 5 games to go. We're in the Europa League quarterfinal, semi-final. Would you still play everyone in the Europa League, or would you be like, no, let's concentrate on the league. We have 5 games to win.
I'll play everyone in the Europa League.
Risking injury, everything, missing Saka for the last 5 games.
I would risk everything. This is what I think. I think Arsenal have a better shot to win the Europa League than the Premier League. And this is why. We have already given ourselves a chance by finishing on top of our group. So we start on the round of 16. So round of 16, quarterfinals, semi-finals, and the final. Those are 4 rounds of play for us to get our hands on that trophy, right? And I look at the quality of teams in the Europa League right now. I watch Barcelona every week. Every single week I watch FC Barcelona. And they don't frighten me at all. Like, not at all. I look at Manchester United. If we played them in a final or in a 2-legged game, it could go 1-1 at the Old Trafford, or they could beat us 1-0 or 2-1 at the Old Trafford. They could come at the Emirates and we could win it 2-0. So I still feel we could edge them out of the Europa League. The rest of the teams, Ajax, they're a very, very different side. Look, I don't think there is a team in the Europa League that I think we would go, we don't stand a chance. So I would give a shot to the Europa League. Out of 10, concentrate on the Europa League 8. And then out of 10, concentrate on the Europa League, on the Premier League, like 7.5. Because with the Premier League, anything can happen, to be honest. Anything. And if Man City go like 3-4 points ahead, right? It might be difficult. So for me, I still take the Europa League seriously. I predicted that Arsenal should win the Europa League this season, and I still stand by my prediction.
That's interesting because by that time it could be, if we win our game in hand, we are 5 points ahead of second place. So that puts that's like we are starting from a place, a forward place. Like in the Europa League, it's like we're starting from zero. First leg, second leg, anything could happen. Knockout football.
Glenn, what if in the Europa League you're given Union Berlin, right? Round of 16.
Good team, still a good team.
Yeah, and then the quarterfinals, you're given Rennes, or is it Nantes, right? Those are two winnable fixtures that see you to the semifinals. The moment you get to the semifinals, you're not playing the competition for the sake of playing. You're actually playing to win it.
Okay, so if there are the easier fixtures that we can win, that means we can depend on the likes of NKETIAH and FABIO VIEIRA to play those games. You don't have to play the likes of Saka and those kind of guys.
I believe we can, but I wouldn't want us to go through a season where everything is in our favor to win a silverware and try to gamble to win both, right? And we could try to win both. We could try to gamble and win both, and maybe we'll walk away with one. And then we say, no, we've given up on the Europa League because we've clearly given up on the FA Cup. We've clearly given up on the Carabao Cup. I think Arsenal, if we played our best team, we beat Brighton at the Emirates Stadium in that game, right? We gave up. We gave up. We gave up on Manchester City. So it's time for us to, fight for the two leading silverwares in our season. So I'm not giving up on any trophy this season, not any.
Because he wants both trophies. So interesting comments here about Ramsdale. Samuel says Ramsdale needs a bit of a break. And Frederick also says Ramsdale to be benched for Matt Turner. I definitely do not agree with that. Goalkeepers don't really need to be rested. A goalkeeper can play a game in the morning and play another one in the afternoon. 90 minutes without any problem. So if you take out Ramsdale from that team, yes, Matt Turner can save shots like we saw at the World Cup. But the moment you take out Ramsdale from that team, he's passing and he's kicking from the back. You're going to lose a lot of stuff from that, from the passing ability alone. And the shot stopping as well. Like, did you see it says against Aston Villa, he basically kept us at 2-2 in that game. So Ramsdale is the first player in the squad. You cannot drop him at all. So let's take a look at our next 6 fixtures, Man City's next 6 fixtures. So between now and that April, we'll have 7 games, Man City will have 6. So who do you think has the tougher fixtures? How many points do you think we're going to pick up from this? Do you think we definitely need to win all of them, or we can afford to draw a couple? And do you think Man City can win all of their games? So you have Leicester, and then Everton is a game in hand, and then Bournemouth, and then Fulham, Crystal Palace, Leeds. As you can see, the Leeds game is 1st of April, and Man City Southampton game at the bottom is 8th of April. So we'll have another game on 8th of April, which means we'll have 7 games, and Man City will have 6 games. So do you think that is a perfect fixture list for us? And do you think City, who has the least chance of dropping points there?
I think Arsenal, until Anfield, there's no excuse, maximum points. Until Anfield. That is going to be like the 10th game from starting from Aston Villa. That would be like the 10th game, right? Or 8th game. Yeah. No excuse. Maximum points for Arsenal. Leicester away, maximum points. Everton at home, Bournemouth at home, maximum points. Well, Crystal Palace at home, Leeds at home, maximum points. At the Craven Cottage against Fulham, maximum points. With Manchester City, I think they have the squad, they have the ability to beat anyone. In the next 6-7 games. But to be honest, I looked at them for 90 minutes against Southampton. Against RB Leipzig yesterday, and it's like, okay, for the second half, 45 minutes in the second half, they didn't even try, and I mean it.
True.
They didn't even try. I don't know how RB Leipzig have not won that game. Maybe, of course, when you have your strikers Andre Silva, it's always likely that you won't win a game. But I think Manchester City are gettable. They're no longer the alien City, untouchable. There's nothing you can do about them. No, they're a very, very different side now. And a club, I don't back Newcastle. I don't back Newcastle to get even a result. Newcastle have really dropped off so much. But I'm looking at that Liverpool game, and I'm like, Liverpool have become better all of a sudden. They've really, really become better, right? Could they maybe get a result at the Etihad? I kind of feel like they can. If they can put in that performance that Arabia, I think, look, I only back Liverpool in the fixtures to do something. Southampton, I don't want to be harsh, but it would be hard to ask them for a point. Newcastle, they've dropped off. Bournemouth, I don't expect them to win a game like in their next 5. Crystal Palace this season, they're not the same Patrick Vieira Crystal Palace. Unless it is the Steven Gerrard vibes, like, can he do it for Arsenal? Can he, you know that kind of commentary? But I think all of us, both of us, City and Arsenal, must get maximum points in this fixture. So I don't even want to banter City. They'll get maximum points here. So Arsenal have to do their own job, get maximum points. And of course, Glenn, after this round of fixtures, it will be like 9 games to go.
It's going to be, and then they're going to be tough games. April is going to be Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City. Exactly.
You have Chelsea in there in our last 9. Chelsea, City. Actually, in April, it's where where everyone thinks Arsenal will drop off, right? So we have to take the advantage in March, win our games in March. If Man City can sleep, and then we go like 11 points clear, right? By the time we are in March, in April, we meander around, and then we have 5 points clear. I think May, there are like 4 or 5 games in May. I think we can do it. We can really.
So from these fixtures, we beat Leicester, we beat Bournemouth, we beat Fulham previously, we beat Crystal Palace as well, we beat Leeds. The only team that stopped us is Everton. So from those 6 fixtures, which one do you think we are most likely to maybe draw something? If you're going to draw points there, which one if you're asked like, okay, we have to draw points in all of the games, which one would you choose and be like, okay, there's no problem with dropping points against this team, they're good enough?
I wouldn't go with they're good enough. I would go with where the game is, okay?
Yeah.
And I would go with Leeds United at the Emirates.
That's the one you'd be happy to drop.
Yeah, that's the game I would be happy to lose. This is a reason.
Wow, interesting.
After beating Aston Villa, Leicester, Bournemouth, Everton, Fulham, we've created that kind of run, right? The belief has come back, the confidence has come back, the consistency is there. We can drop points against Leeds United. But I don't want us to win 2 games and then drop 1, or win 3 and then lose 1. It's going to break the consistency. I want us to go 5 games only wins, or 7 games only wins, and then we can drop points against Leeds United. I'll be okay with that. I'll be fuming, but I'll be like, okay, 6 in a row.
Yeah, if we win 5 games and then lose points to Leeds, that would be disappointing. But yes, I get your point. I get your point.
Yeah. That's it.
So let's take a few comments. Been a good show. Frederick says, please no experiment here. Only we have to win the game. And Crystal Palace is the only big threat for us. There says DC. Arsenal should focus on 2 trophies, honestly, because it's our chance to do as we are capable, says Dixon. Ben White and Tomiyasu, who do you think is supposed to start? Because most of the people out here complaining on Ben White, says Joel. Kozia said he wants Tomiyasu for this game and specific games like Man City, Liverpool. Personally, I don't mind who starts between those 2 players. I feel like both of them are good enough. I feel like Ben White is harshly criticized. I feel like he still does well. And as I said to Kozia yesterday, Gabriel has given a ball away to Mitrovic. Zinchenko gave away a goal against Aston Villa the other day. Tomiyasu gave away a goal against Man City. I think Saliba has given a penalty. Gabriel has given a penalty. Ben White is the only player who's not given a direct goal. Yes, he lost his man against Aston Villa, but he's literally the only player who's not given away a direct goal. But yes, all of them have not been at the top of the game in some parts of the season. I also saw a question from Canon Ford. He asked, what would be the most important thing in that midfield? Mobility, providing opportunities, or being creative? I guess talking about Partey, Jorginho, which is the most important thing in that midfield from now on? Personally, I think it's protecting the defense. We need someone to just protect the mid. I feel like our forward plus can do a job.
Yeah, but I'm also looking at the next fixtures we have, and I'm like,
yeah, I get you.
It's going to be more of an Arsenal show. 60% ball 70% ball possession. And that's where the mobility comes in. I think creativity, we are okay with Alexander Zinchenko and all these other players. They've done it well. But the mobility would be, I would go with mobility for the next 6 fixtures. I would go with mobility.
Canon Fodder says Partey is not that mobile. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. He's not that mobile like Jorginho. And I said, if you want to understand Jorginho, understand him from the lens of his game, because that is who he is. He never changes. That is his game, right? So it would be mobility, but to be honest, I would still play Thomas Partey.
Interesting, but I get your point about the games, like all those games you feel like you need to dominate all those games. Emmanuel says, for me, I believe we can win 4 out of 6. I feel like we need to win more than that. I feel like if to win the title, you have to get like 88 points, and that means we'll have to like the next 15 games, the last 15 games, you have to win like 10 and draw like 2 of them or 3.
I'm actually disappointed that we are not even going to be Centurions. I wanted us to be Centurions.
we can only get to 99 if we win all of the games. Do you think it's tough? How many games do you think we can afford to lose between now and the end of the season?
Etihad away, Man City. That is the only loss I would take. And then a draw at the Anfield.
Newcastle away, you're happy with that one?
No, I think we should go there and pick up 3 points. You're going. Everyone thinks. And of course, this is so good from Newcastle, because they've created that kind of monster face in the past, but they're no longer the monster team. They're no longer the monster team. Look, some of their players are back, but I still feel like their season is kind of over. They'll start from there next season. So I'm confident we go there with a real mentality. We pick up 3 points.
Very, very true. Last question? What is your prediction for Leicester against Arsenal this weekend?
It always rains goals, doesn't it?
Yeah, 4-2s, 5-3s. I remember we beat them like 5-2 and they won the title. A lot of goals.
It always rains goals there. So I'll back Arsenal, a 2-goal margin. Arsenal, I think it's gonna. I think we'll go down in that game. Actually, I think we'll go down.
Really?
Yeah, I think we'll go down.
Like concede fast. That is what you mean for anyone who doesn't know.
We might not concede fast, but we might lead like a 0-0, and then they come back and it's 2-1.
Yeah.
But I'll back Arsenal. I'm going to back Arsenal to go 3-2. I'll back Arsenal 3-2. It's gonna be tight. It will be goal scoring, but in the end, I think if we can have that second half that we had at the Villa Park, like just dominate everything, including VAR and the referees, just dominate everything, we win that game 3-2.
It's going to be a very interesting title race. Yes, people are saying we can only afford to lose 1, but I can see a lot more turns and twisters. I can see us potentially drawing 2, maybe even drawing with Leeds unexpectedly. I can see Man City drawing with the team that you didn't expect it to be. So it's going to be very, very interesting. So at the beginning, I put a poll asking who should start as a striker. 58% have said Martinelli. 25% have said Trossard, 17% have said NKETIAH. So many people want to see NKETIAH up front. Do I think that is going to happen? I don't think so. I think ARTETA is going to play NKETIAH up front, and I think Ben White is going to start. I think TOMIYASU potentially played the midweek game. So 2-1 from Frederick. Manuel says 3-1 as well. I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure to follow Cozy on YouTube at Cozy's Arsenal podcast. Does videos all day. You can follow everything Arsenal as well. And on Twitter, that is Cozy Arsenal, and also Glen Kightley. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch up with you on the next one.